At that stage, I thought about my wife, I thought about my 2 boys, and I said, God, I'm probably going to come to my end here. My name is Nick Dunican. You're here in Belgooly in South Cork today. We're tillage farmers here. We do contracting as well. We have a business selling second-hand machinery and second-hand combine harvesters. I decided, because the margins in growing grain are very tight, that we'd have to do something that would add on to our grain growing. So I decided I'd start importing combine harvesters from the UK. Combines and farm machinery have become the bigger portion of our enterprise here in Belgooly. It was just the start of the harvest of 2024. I had recently acquired a lovely New Holland TX32 with only 2,100 hours on it, and I had 2 local customers very interested in it. But part of their, we'll call it condition of sale, is they want to see it working. And I have grain on a farm in beautiful Oyster Haven, only a few miles from here. So I decided early on Saturday morning, I'd move with the combine out to the farm and we'd take a sample. And my wife was there. I cut the sample for her and she went off to our local grain intake. And when she was away, I was fine-tuning the combine and adjusting the sieves, adjusting the concave and the fan to make sure I got a clean sample to pass for malting. I decided after half an hour up and down the ladder that I would go way over to the hilly part of the field and I would cut as much as I could. Now it is very steep and I didn't expect the combine to make it the whole way to the top, so I said I'd let it go up as far as it could and I'd reverse back down. So I started off on the first run over there by the fence, and when the combine went up there, I'd say about 20 metres and it stopped. It couldn't climb anymore. So I pressed the clutch, it's a clutch machine, and when I did, the combine started rolling back down. The brakes had no grip in reverse, and the combine was facing that shed down there. We can see here the shed is level with the field. So the roof of that shed is probably 20 feet off the ground, and I was heading in a combine for the roof of that shed. That shed is full of vintage tractors and cars, so there was absolutely no humanly way would I have survived if the combine had continued on the journey towards the shed. Naturally I panicked, I pressed the brake 20 times, but there was still no reaction from the brake pedal. And I kind of thought, this is the end for me, I'm probably going to get killed here. So the only thing I could do was turn the steering wheel and try and send the combine in a different direction, and that it would run across the field of barley and eventually come to the stop. But no, that didn't happen. Before I knew it, the right wheel was coming up in the air and the combine was starting to tumble. And before I knew it, the combine was on its roof. It was still running. I was thrown into the ceiling of the cab, I suppose, if that's the right word to use. My legs were being pulled. The windscreen had broken and the reel was trying to pull me out of the cab. I was going to be sucked into the combine, and not alone would I be killed, but probably chopped up as well. So I managed to pull back my legs away from the reel, the tines on the reel that were turning, and I found the stopper cable. The stopper cable was then upside down, and luckily in the turn or in the tumble, the stopper cable hadn't broken, and I managed to stall the engine, and everything stopped then. I gathered my wits and I ran away from the combine. And it all happened in about 5 or 6 seconds. There was no time to react. There was no time to try and stop what was happening. It was just instant. When the combine started to roll back, I thought about my wife and I thought about my boys. And I also thought about another aspect of farming that we don't talk about, mental health. We suffered very badly as a family earlier on. In 2024, we lost our brother to suicide. And I was thinking my family are going to lose a second member to a farm accident. And that was a big part of my thoughts as the accident unfolded. The fear of lifetime injuries was the thing if I was lucky enough to come out of it alive. Fearful that my wife and my boys would be left without a member of the family, and that, you know, that they'd have to bury someone from a farm accident. I was the lucky one who walked away from a horrific farm accident injury-free, and I suppose for that I'll be forever grateful. Slow down. Farming is a very dangerous game. We all know of friends and neighbours that have got killed on farms. Forget about social media when you're in the tractor, and don't be flying down the road thinking nothing's going to happen, because something will happen. Don't be involved in an accident where somebody gets killed, right? I was in a field. I was very lucky that morning. I had the combine sold. There was 2 guys due in the field to come and have a look at it. Imagine if they were standing up on the step and the combine turned over. There could have been 2 fellas killed. So simple that morning. And I appeal to young people to just be careful. You know, just be careful and take your time. The work will all get done.